Hey, my name's Josh. I thought I'd go through how I made my song Night and Day. Basically, it was like mid-2019, and me and my friend Matt Clampitt drove out to our friend Phoebe's place. She had like a home studio there, and we kind of just wrote the song. I remember having in my head that I wanted to make something that was like energetic, and I'd just been listening to Three Nights by Dominic Fike. And it's way easier for me to write like songs with energy when I'm with other people, just because I'm like usually pretty chill, or like just like I find it hard to keep up like energy levels when I'm on my own. And so when I'm with someone, I can kind of do that throughout the day, and you can kind of bounce off of each other and keep each other uplifted, I guess. But yeah, that's basically kind of the premise of the song. We ended up doing most of the recording there, and then I did some production outside of like that session, and then we re-recorded. Matt engineered my vocals and the bass at a studio called Bagnall Hill Studios in Te Pahu in New Zealand. So that I attribute a lot of the good sounding vocals and bass to that, because there's like a bunch of like outboard gear that Matt knows how to use that I know nothing about. So thankfully he helped with that, and he does a lot of my vocals actually. This is just one of the many songs that he's helped engineer. Anyway, I believe on the day we started with the drums, and then we did the bass after that, but I'll just do the song kind of in order as you hear it. So first up we have the guitar here, which is EQ, RC20 EQ. It's probably just like a preset on RC20. Yeah. So we wrote that to the bass. So we already had the bass line, and so just kind of basically picked the chords over the top of that. And then on top of that we have the vocals, which here we have EQ, CLA vocals, which I believe I forgot. Yeah, I forgot to mix this. This is just like the setting that I have like when I just like load my vocal chain. This is the setting that's already there. It's like Start Me Up Dry preset. I would usually use the wall compressor because I like it's like a bit brighter, and you have that a bit higher and have that lower, and then yeah. So a few things that are a bit different, but basically I forgot to do it, but it still sounds great. And then I have soothe going, and then 2A, and then EQ, and then I've bussed on a slap delay. That's my favorite slap delay. And then while that's playing, the stereo out actually has RC20 on it, and it's doing some it's making it sound like kind of lo-fi and vinyl-y and stuff. And you can see on the automation here, it starts at about 70% magnitude, or just like mix, and then goes down to 52%, and then as soon as the verse comes in, it cuts to completely clean, which for me was quite impactful. Starting the song quite like lo-fi, I guess, and then that kind of like immediate change to hi-fi makes it feel even better. I don't know. It's just kind of contrast, I guess, is the best way to put it. And yeah, so then we have the drums, which is what we started with. I'll just hide these for a second. So we have the snare from Battery. If you just saw it, was the Sad Flamingo kit. Most of these are unaffected, by the way, like hardly any EQ or compression. Then we have that comes in the chorus. My favorite kick. This is the sound of my favorite kick. It's called, I type in wow kick. I can't remember the company. It's on Splice. Most of these are Splice samples. Weird percussion thing, a little clap noise thing. This is like you might be able to hear it in your headphones, but just kind of rises into the second clap, and then a hi-hat loop, which I've chopped up a little bit, but not much. So the drums at this point sound like this. And on top of that we have the bass. So initially, obviously we've recorded this a bunch of times, but this is the version that was recorded in Te Pahu. We have the NS1 noise suppressor, guitar rig on like a bass preset, EQ, CLA 76 compressor, and then bounced it out and put it into EQ and compressor. So that sounds like this. And then on top of that we have this vocal sample. So I can't remember how we came up with it, but basically we had this vocal thing that I sang. Oops. You can call me night and day. Basically, initially I think that was going to be a melody for something, but then it just kind of ended up being this kind of background thing. So I ran it through like my regular plugins, and then bounced it out and put it through little alter boy in RC20 and chopped it up a little bit, and then bounced that out and put that through crystallizer, and so now that sounds like this. And then we added on Diva on the low end. It's just a Diva synth that just kind of copies it to give it some weight. And so that's kind of like the vibe in the chorus. Sorry, in the verse. And then the other thing that happens in this first verse was kind of the pre-chorus. Is this piano comes in halfway through. This is what it originally sounded like. So this is contact piano, and then basically we used the logic transposer. You can see up here it says 12, plus 12 up an octave, and basically the logic transposer sometimes just ruins things, and so this is what it sounds like after it got ruined by the logic transposer. It doesn't always ruin things, but in this case it took it all out of time and made it all glitchy, but to me that sounded way cooler than if it was properly in time. I could have pitched it up with like a different pitch shifter and it would have been in time, but I actually preferred it like this, and it became kind of like a nice interesting texture over the pre-chorus. And so then coming into the chorus we have some new drums. We have like this reverse crash, which is the same crash that hits on the one, and then we have these toms from that sound sample pack. So we have this new hi-hat which comes in, which is just more constant and a bit tighter, and then this frozen crash. It's frozen because what I did was I got chroma verb on Logic, and then you can see on the automation just froze the reverb at that point, so it lasts the entire kind of 4 bars, and then it restarts halfway through. And then we have a new guitar that comes in. It's the same guitar settings but with Valhalla on it. And I bounced it out, compressed it, EQ'd. Super kind of out there, but it just sounds great. And then I have this pad. I use this pad in Like Hell as like a melody thing in a post-chorus, but used it as like actual for chords in this song. And then these diva strings. That's just like kind of like the Like How pad gives it warmth, and then the diva strings with the tremolo kind of gives it some momentum and some kind of high-end sparkle kind of stuff. And yeah, I think that's kind of the new elements in the chorus. Oh, there's this crazy sample. Basically, I had sent the song when it was almost done to my friend Tom, and he was like, "Ah, I feel like there's something missing in that first chorus, in that gap in the middle," and I totally agreed. And so what I did is I was just like at home, and I just voice memoed on my phone. This I can just play it.
Oh, you're falling in love again.
It was basically, I knew what rhythm I wanted, but I didn't know what I wanted it to be, so I just kind of just like on the spot saying that. And then I kind of chopped it up, put it into time, just like each word into time, and then did some like put these heaps and heaps of plugins on it, like pitched it up, alter boy, AU pitch, sample delay, and then did some like reversing and chopping up, so now it sounds like this. And then I bounced that out and put it through pitch correction, transient master, AU pitch, sample delay, and then I bounced it out, put that through alter boy, and then I ended up with these two things, which are this sound in the song. Oh, sorry, that's not meant to be like, it usually, it's just the first time you use it. There we go. And to me, that's like my favorite part in the song. Just kind of like, I didn't intend on having that in the song. I kind of thought that it was going to be an ad-lib, and then I would just kind of distort my vocals and make it sound cool. But then it kind of just became this melody thing that just came from my phone. So I guess in the context of the song, it sounds like this. Yeah, and then the vocals, there's the chorus lead, and then I've duplicated it. Well, I've sung it 3 times, and one's panned left, one's panned right. So the ones on the left and right are bussed to some reverb, and this one's just bussed to some delay. And so these are quite reverby, and then the middle is relatively dry in comparison. And that's the chorus. Then moving on to the second verse. we have this vocal sample that comes in. I pitched it up using the transposer. This didn't ruin it. This actually sounds the same timing. This is what it originally was. And then pitched it up, and it's the sound that we all know and love. This the wrong way. That little thing in the background. So yeah, I think that's really cool, that one. I should play it, but yeah. And then we have some T-tail drums. It's like a contact, third-party contact drum kit. Just doing some drum fills. It happens there and then into the chorus again. That's basically it for the second verse. Like, I think there was like a new melody and everything, and so we didn't really need to add that much production to kind of like develop it. Yeah, the new melodies was kind of enough. Actually, while we're here, this is just like, I mean, fun fact kind of thing. I mean, there's just like an old voice memo from the day we made it. This is the way that the chorus originally sounded. And then it was. So thank goodness we changed it. But that was the original chorus. Didn't have the lyrics yet, but it was gonna have that like high thing, and yeah, I'm really glad we got rid of that. And oh, sorry, there's also an octave in the chorus, but that would be really pitchy. I've mixed that slightly differently to bring out some of the highs. SSL channel, I think, is better. Well, I mean, for me, I have a setting. This is the setting. It's like a variation of the lead vox preset, sorry, that brings out lots of the highs, which is really nice. And so then we come to the chorus. We have the new element in this chorus. Well, one of them is the cowbell loop, which is this one here. And I remember talking to my friend Connor Nestor about this, and he was like, "Oh, you should try like making it a bit louder than you would initially kind of like put a cowbell in like a mix." And it's like a mix idea, and it was kind of like we've been listening to an artist that we thought had done a similar thing by making certain samples louder to kind of give them more prominence and to kind of I don't know, I guess just like feature them. And maybe it's just bad mixing, but that's what we went for. We went to a slightly louder cowbell loop than maybe you would usually have, to kind of let it stick out a bit more and be more defining, I guess, in this new section. But yeah, anyway. That's like a Lovecraft loop. I can't remember what it's called exactly, but the company is Lovecraft. It's on Splice. And then we have the harmonies that come in here. So I'll play them all together with the vocals.
Anyway, you can call me night and day, or we could even meet halfway. Yeah, baby, when you're deep in the water and you need somebody tonight.
Yeah, I think like the rhythms kind of playing off each other was really exciting to me and really like gave it some momentum. I think like for quite like a fast drum beat, there's lots of melodies that kind of like, I don't know, if the beat wasn't like that, it would kind of drag the song, but they kind of just like play off of each other. And so then leading into this post-chorus, I took the bass, a bar of the bass, and one of the guitars, and just kind of like stopped them and had them ramp up in speed, so they sound like this. And to me, it was just kind of like this one bar kind of break where the bass drops out and the guitar, and then it just like lets the post-chorus hit even harder because you've just kind of gone without for a bar. And the screaming guitar comes in. So this one here. So the thing I love about that is that that's actually the melody from that sits behind the verses, the vocal sample. And I love that we took a melody that was like originally like this kind of background thing that just sits way in the distance, and then there's this moment where it just becomes the focus, and I think that's really awesome. Not letting any melodies go to waste, you know, especially if we like them, you know, so it gives it a chance to kind of to shine. And then there's these ad-libs that come in, so these are mixed the same way but with a sample delay on them, 4 milliseconds.
I don't wanna lie.
And there's a delay on that as well. Echo Boy Jr. And this bit that I think about, like, honestly every day.
I know you never really noticed. You're giving me my head some trouble, and
So I said you're giving me my head some trouble, and that's just like, doesn't make sense. It's horrible. It's just a blatant grammatical error, and I can't believe neither me or Matt like thought about it even once in the recording process. Maybe Matt did, and he just didn't tell me. Shouldn't fake confidence so much, but it really annoys me because I know that I could have just said you're gonna give my head some trouble, and it would have made sense. But now the song is on Spotify and it doesn't make sense, and you know, it is what it is. But people haven't noticed. Well, people haven't told me talked to me about it, so I assume they haven't noticed. But so it's kind of interesting about the song, I guess. And then the outro is guitar and vocals. So I hope I haven't forgotten anything, and I hope this was helpful. Like, feel free to like ask any questions. Happy to answer anything, and I'll do more of these. So I guess I'll see you next time. Thanks.